I'm five, man. We're just juggling this afternoon a myriad of stories coming at us. We'll keep on with that and taking your phone calls too. 545-9950. Mandu bringing you the show this hour. That's Paul's operation over there in Homewood. And of course, they've got a location over in Tuscaloosa now on University and in Huntsville. This is a cool concept. This is muscle training, it's toning and shaping without weights and cables in a gym. Believe it or not, this is electronic muscle stimulation technology. Some of you have used a TIMS machine. Say you've had an injury and they put this little thing on and makes your muscle twitch. That's keeping that muscle active and stimulating the muscle. Well, years ago, somewhere over in Europe, they came up with a concept of what if we could do the whole body that way and actually tone and shape muscles with that kind of stimulation. They worked it out and it works. It's very effective. It's so effective that the workouts are only 15 minutes and they do your whole body at once. You put this suit on that resembles sort of a dive suit. It's kind of skin tight. They provide all that for you when you go. They provide you a changing facility to get in and out of your I don't want to say outfit. That's not a proper word for a grown man, but you get out of your clothes, whatever you're wearing. You don't even have to dress for the gym. The first time I went, I wore workout clothes, and it's not like that. You can go in your work clothes, however you roll during the day, go to your private little room, change into their suit, get on the machine. They walk you through it with a professional trainer when you're done. Man, you can't go back for 2 days. It's so intense. And people find more instant results. And to me, that's the good feedback. That's when you feel good, and you make better choices and everything else, your eating habits and all that. Now, let me talk about another issue. Some of y'all are doing the weight loss shots, and good for you if they work for you. But there's a downside to that is you lose weight very, very quickly, and you start to lose some of your tone. And you can lose bone density and muscle strength if you're not also training your muscles in that process. And honestly, I think if you overdo it, people start looking bad. Well, you can balance out when Mandu is the efficiency of the shots for the food part of your equation, but this is the workout part. To me, they make a good partnership. Now, you figure all that out with Paul and your medical professionals on how you dose and do those kind of things. But this is different. It's very effective, and people just love it. So go see Paul. Let him let you try it for free in Homewood on the main drag right there on that main drag on 18th down through Homewood. They're up on the second floor, and they would love to see you and let you give it a shot. Mandu. Let me spell it for you. And if you're over in T-Town, again, look for them on University Drive. It's MANDUU, mandu.com, mandu.com. All right, let me take everything back to the top. I won't bother with a weather update, but we do have potential strong weather coming in on Wednesday night. We'll have a better head around that forecast by tomorrow. Right now, we're just a level 2 out of 3, so no big concern, but could be another inch and a half of rain, which we could use, and it's really been helpful, all this rain that we got last week. Then there's the incident outside the White House. Let's go to that real quick and see what we got. I did see a report that let me tell you what happened. There was a man shot near the White House by, quote, law enforcement during a White House event where Trump was up live in front of a bunch of small business leaders just moments ago. Trump was not even aware, of course, up there giving his presentation, that all this commotion was going on outside. This was nearer the Washington Monument than the White House. But if you've ever been to Washington, you know the proximity of these memorials. It's close enough to the president for it to be alarming. There's some reports coming across now. At first, this may not have seemed like a threat to the president, just maybe another random incident that could happen around D.C. But we're getting some reports that the person may have been armed and was confronted by Secret Service agents that was aware of that he was indeed some kind of threat. Everything got sideways and the Secret Service agent had to put the person down. That may be an oversimplification, and I can't confirm that with anybody other than we do have one person shot. White House was temporarily on lockdown. Reporters had to be shuttled. And again, I pointed this out last hour if you're just tuning in. No loss of irony here that this is likely some of the same people that were at that correspondence dinner that had to sort of duck for it that night had to also be run from the lawn into the building, into the White House, into the press briefing room when these shots started ringing out near the Capitol. Now, where they were at the White House doesn't seem to me they might have even heard the shots because there's a lot of noise, a lot of traffic near the White House. But you could walk this distance. I started trying to estimate. This is probably less than a 10-minute walk from this location to the White House gate. Maybe even less than that, depending on which route you took. So we'll get more information on that today. Was this a threat against the White House or the administration, or is this just some random crime in D.C.? We'll try to get a fix on that here in just a little bit and let you know too. Man, just things in the news. We've dealt with the Iranians in the situation as things have developed there today. Kind of took a turn today with this new operation to escort ships and defend those ships as they go through there, these merchant ships. So we're watching that story roll. And then there are the map wars. The Alabama legislature is officially gavelled in. And let me scroll over here. I've got so many sources I'm having to keep up with all at once. Let me scroll over here and take a look and see if there's anything being reported out of the session. We'll give them a minute because they got to get in and do the prayer and do all that stuff. As they the May 9th primary is looming. The Supreme Court decision is looming or has loomed already, and we've got the Attorney General being active and filing for petition from the 11th Circuit to give clarity to this mission that the legislature's on today, so we can find out how aggressive they're going to be. Again, the scenarios, I'll walk back through it for sort of the late in the afternoon crowd, is will they draw a 6-1 map, leaving the Democrats an advantageous district, probably District 7, which was around prior to these court cases, and just reconfigure the 2nd district, which was again drawn for the Democrats, or again, based on previous false understanding of the Voting Rights Act. But now that we have clarity, will the Republicans act like some of the other Republicans that have been more aggressive in Texas and in Florida, and as aggressive as the Democrats were in Virginia just days before? While on one hand, they scream at the moon about the unfairness of it, but they themselves have done this all over the country. And I pointed it out last hour. They've been so good at it prior to today and prior to this, even this year with these wars back and forth between the states. They don't have anywhere to go. They've already gerrymandered their own states almost to the max ahead of this, but then when Republicans decide to get in that game and fight back, suddenly this is somehow dishonest or unfair. They can pound sand. It's time to fight. Let's see what these legislators do. I know they're all in their chambers right now, and they're not able to listen to the show this afternoon. But I hope they remember they're all up for election this year too. That should mean something. We're watching whether we're going to be aggressive with this or not, whether we're going to do constitutional districts that are drawn contiguously to economic areas and areas of community interest, or they're going to do gerrymandering. There's one or the other. Gerrymandering is not drawing proper districts. Drawing proper districts follows the Constitution. It's what the Constitution requires. And these leftists that want to say that somehow the Voting Rights Act was gutted or set aside, it was no such thing. It was reaffirmed. We've got to use the right language in this stuff and be smarter than the other side. They're counting on the ignorance of people that don't know anything. By the way, I'm a dork. I'm a straight dork. I read the ruling this morning. It occurred to me when I got up this morning, it was quiet morning hours. I always kind of do some quiet reading. I guess it was about 6:30 this morning. I thought, you know what, as much as I've talked since this ruling came out, what was it, on Thursday or Wednesday? I haven't even read the ruling myself. Like I knew what others had interpreted, but I went and read it, even the case citations that I didn't understand, to get to the essence of the argument. And it's clear as a bell the way it was framed and what it means and what the original intent of the Voting Rights Act was in the first place. So we got to get back to fundamental fairness and constitutional principles, not people making it up as they go along for emotional and political advantage. So enough lecturing for me. All I get to do is raise Cain about it on the air, and I'll be doing that this afternoon as well. Again, 545-9950 is the number if y'all want to get in on the show. Say what you got to say. It's time to get in here. So, again, my question, because I keep getting asked, I've got a pretty deep understanding on reapportionment and drawing districts, having worked directly on projects like this years ago. But I don't have a fix on the personalities and the players that are in that room right now on those apportionment committees or down in Montgomery. I just know that it took a lot of public attention and heat on the governor to even get this session called in the first place. These people wanted to coast. The governor, for her own part, been around, in there 10 years now, just coasting on through the holidays in the summer. I mean, this is just, sometimes it's human laziness and incompetence that lead to bad decisions like the statement she put out. And I really think what they wanted to do, they were done with the legislature. They're getting a new state house. They were tearing down the old building, and they saw the complication of having to go back into session. They didn't want to do it. They wanted to go to the beach, go to their conferences. Every moneyed interest in the state has their beach trips during this time of the year. They wanted to do retreats. They wanted to get to the holidays, dedicate the Christmas tree, and go run the governor through some Christmas parades and call it a career in politics. And Kay Ivey can go out on top, but she didn't want to do anything else. They don't have to truck her around at 81 years old, making public appearances or go through what could be a combative redistricting session. So they punted. And then it took heat from this audience to get them to focus. It may take heat this week from this audience and other audiences that are like-minded to stay on these people, to do the right thing and draw. All we're asking is draw fair districts, not districts for anybody, but fair districts. And the maps I've seen that turn all those to Republican-oriented districts are fair in their geography and in their reasoning. And that's what should be the case all over this country, where you keep counties intact and you keep people groups intact, you keep cities and towns intact, and you're not sitting here contorting yourself like a game of intellectual twister just to get desired outcomes. The Voting Rights Act does not give desired outcomes. It does not do any of that. It never has. It's been bastardized and perverted and used to cheat in this country through the abuse of lawsuits and all these other things. And don't give me this 3-judge panel. The lower courts and some of these federal judges are screwing this country over in other ways too. And what we got from the court was clarity on what it says. And all it says is you have to abide by the 14th Amendment. Again, the Voting Rights Act did not guarantee people outcomes. It doesn't tell you you're guaranteed somebody that looks like you be in Congress. That is not what it says. It says that your state, especially the ones in the South with a history of discrimination, can't prevent you from voting or running. And when this is over, no matter how they draw it, 6-1, 7-0, whatever they do, everybody that's in Congress now can run again, including Terry Sewell, including Shamari Figure. They can run. And every voter in the state that's eligible can vote. Nobody's being discriminated against. What it does is the Voter Rights Act did not give any benefits to anybody, and it didn't take any rights away. It was to neutralize all that and make everything fair. So let's get back to fairness and let's pull together and make this country better and not vote for a rubber stamp for the freaking socialist terrorism that's happening in our Congress right now by drawing an unfair district. We'll see what they do. Ronnie is on line 4. Well, let's get a call in here real quick. We'll get our calls going for the afternoon. Ronnie, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Leland. I've seen this video of Hakeem Jeffries, and it's a little disturbing. I think it was last Thursday, Friday. I've seen it several times today, where he said nothing's off the table with this illegitimate Supreme Court, and that nothing's off the table. I took that as they're going to pack the court.
Well, if they get control, they will. So if the Republicans wimp out and do things like give the Democrat Party a rubber stamp vote from Alabama to add to other rubber stamp votes like that, where she's not voting the interests of her district, she's doing what she's told. I can prove that with previous votes. So if they go in there, they want to change it to a either 15 or 17 seat Supreme Court. They want to immediately get rid of the filibuster themselves, even though Thune the Poon won't do it to fight for his so-called side of this thing. And they want to add Puerto Rico and D.C. as states, which some believe D.C. would be a constitutional challenge, but they're going to try it. That would give them 4 automatic senators. That would be 4 more Democrats that they'll need. And yeah, they're going to pack the courts. They're going to pack the states. and they're going to get rid of the filibuster and run over the Republicans like a freight train.
If that happens, our republic is done.
Well, because their
Our
ideology,
Republicans
what they believe in is bad for the country. The things they're trying to do will be the undoing of this country. And we can't give them a single vote in Congress.
Yeah, and the verbiage he's using, illegitimate. I mean, it's almost putting a target on the Supreme Court's back.
Well, listening to Hakeem Jeffries speak, it's like, you ever seen a bucket of frogs get kicked over? That's like watch intellectual version of Hakeem Jeffries giving a speech. He did call the court illegitimate, and he's got a right to do that. I mean, he can say what he wants, but it's ridiculous and stupid, and in some ways irresponsible and dangerous. But he didn't care about that. Okay. They've crossed out of that line a long time ago.
How many total seats do you suspect we will gain if everybody does the right thing by the Constitution? How many seats will the Republican Party gain?
Well, it depends on if you're talking about the whole country, or you're talking about when all this is played out for the midterms, or if you're just talking about the South. The upside potential just in the South is about 14. There's some other states where gains are possible, like Indiana. Indiana is so far wimped out on it too. I can't count on Republicans to be tough everywhere. So, I mean, I would guess about 8. If I had to just ballpark it, I'd say about 8.
I looked at Illinois today, and that is the craziest thing.
Oh, yeah.
It literally is a half of a county that runs all the way up the center of the state in dog legs.
Yep.
How is that not absolutely against the Constitution?
Well, it is. The court just ruled that. And you can't, when you're doing it you couldn't do it for any other reason either. You can't violate people's constitutional rights for any other reason, but they went and clarified that you damn sure can't use race as the reason for doing that. So here's some fun backstory for you from Illinois. One of the things that started Illinois down the road to screwing up their maps, and it wasn't just race maps, because they've got Chicago and then everything else, like a lot of cities with dense urban areas and then rural. So, but it was Barack Obama himself, when he wanted to run for office, got beat the first time, and he wanted to run for the state Senate, and he got involved in reapportionment and drew the district to draw in a Hyde Park area that was really favorable to him. And that's how he got in politics, was a redistricting move, and they had to gerrymander to do it. He gets in the state Senate. He's literally there 2 years. The man's never had a real job in his life, or been in the head of any table, or been an executive of anything. 2 years later, they put him in the Senate. And then boom, he's in the White House. This guy went to the White House with the shortest previous political career and on the straightest trajectory in probably the history of this country. And, we see why. We see everything about it. But it started with redistricting.
Did that.
Yeah. Well, Trump came out of...
beat him probably.
Well, Trump came straight out of the private sector. Yeah. But in terms of people that usually matriculate, he was on a rocket ship.
Shouldn't economics play more of a part of it? Shouldn't you group counties in together that benefits the next county more than the court, race? I mean, this is crazy.
The court has always referred to that as communities of interest, which means I've said it over and over, just using Alabama for an example, people in the Wiregrass have a whole different economic cohesion and interest in farming and peanut production and things like that. They don't give a damn about over in Baldwin and Mobile County or up here in Birmingham. So we have interests here that are good for us. Huntsville is a big federal town full of tech and research and grants and government investment. They've got a different economic interest. And if you are in the rural parts of the state, in the Black Belt, you've got an interest too that needs to be heeded. But sending Terry Sewell, for example, to Congress just because she looks like you, this is what it's gotten you. It's gotten you 20 million illegal immigrants who are soaking up all the resources and stealing from the rest of us, that have put people against the wall. It's caused wage depression. It's caused housing shortage. So, yeah, if you want to keep voting for that just because you feel good about yourself, fine. I mean, give it a shot. But that's not helpful to people in Alabama and the interests that we have.
All right, Leland, I appreciate it, man. Don't cross the cheer mafia.
Who? What? Oh, the cheerleader moms. I'm scared of those people. I stay away from it. We're still in it. It's still happening. Lord help us all. 424, back in a minute. All right, let's keep going. Floor Tech concrete coatings. Let's talk, man. This is the garage floor stuff people do where they put a nice color down, maybe some flake in it. I call it flake. Some people call it chips. Looks beautiful. There are do-it-yourself versions of this. You could probably try to do yourself. But here's the old dirty secret. It ain't gonna last. None of it lasts. It's going to yellow and it's going to peel. Almost all of these products, even professionally installed, will do that. It's because they use the wrong stuff. They use watered down, thinned out paint or ingredients. I call it ingredients. It's like when you eat a recipe, man. If you put the good stuff in there, it's the good stuff. And that's where FloorTech came in. They reinvented this stuff. They studied why it fails with other applications and came up with a better product. They keep the solvents out of it. That's why it doesn't stink. That's why it dries in a day and it'll last longer than you do. This is a locally based Birmingham company that can come out and give you a lab experiment on why their product's better. And I love the way they demonstrate it. It's good stuff. This is what you want on your concrete floors, whether inside or outside. If you want to protect them and keep them beautiful from oils and stains, it's FloorTech Coatings. So reach out to them, and you spell it T-E-K, by the way, floortechcoatings.com, Floortek, floortechcoatings.com. Tell them we said, hey, let's get that project done this spring. Back in a minute. All right, y'all, 435, Leland Live, talking to M5. Y'all get on back in here and we'll keep on going. Let's talk about Tapco. They're down in Birmingham. That is, of course, my friend Michael. I like this guy. The minute I met him, I like this guy. And there are people like that in my life. I just know they're genuine, they're honest. I went in there for a tour of the shop. Tapco is a service center, a mechanic shop, a place to get your car either just routine maintenance taken care of or to absolutely get some mysterious, crazy problem you're having solved. They're just good. And as I've said over and over again, cars have become more and more sophisticated, more difficult for us to work on ourselves. You got to really have some sophisticated, expensive equipment to diagnose what the sensors are telling you. They got all that at Tapco. They're so honest and sincere about their pricing and really doing the job right. They want you to roll out of there with the safest car possible. So they can go through it. One thing is to just, if you become a customer of theirs and you're getting some of your routine maintenance done, and they'll do a oil change or just a basic service or whatever you need, all the way up to dropping an engine in that thing or fixing something that we can't even describe, but they know what the problem is. They'll handle it. They've got a shuttle service too. Michael has a shuttle service where if you work anywhere near sort of the downtown general area, they'll drive you back to work. You drop your car off in the morning. If it's one of those kind of repairs or service jobs, they'll take you to work, handle everything you need done, and then get you back to your car in the afternoon. That's pretty nice, sort of a concierge service down at Tapco, TAPCO. They started really as a high performance shop, and they decided they were going to broaden out, let the rest of us take our little raggedy rides down there and get things done every now and then. I've still got a bushing issue on my truck that is just an aging issue. Over time, they start to fail, and I'm going to get mine down there this summer at some point, and they're going to take care of it for me. It is Tapco Birmingham. They're on 6th Avenue South. Go see them, get your appointment, and go see them. Tell them I said, hey, and then you'll have a trusted place. That's peace of mind to know no matter what goes wrong, I got somebody that can fix it. I'm going to get a fair price, and they're going to do the job right. That's the other part of that equation. TapcoBirmingham.com. Now, speaking of 6th Avenue, let me make my pitch for the Jawbone Jam. We're so excited. We're 11 days out from our big station, 10th anniversary. You've been hearing the ads playing. We really hope you'll come join us. It's a special time for us. 10 years is a long time to hold a radio station together and keep doing what you do, and especially in today's environment. And, you know, this event's always been our birthday party, but this one's the biggest one ever because we were able to partner up with Iron City, and we're presenting Brother Kane, which is an amazing band that's now had a reunion. They've put out a new album. I like these bands that actually have talent putting albums out. They're bringing Stone Horses with them. They're on national tour together. And then My Friends in Cattle, who also just recently got back together and are out there again. Just think the world of those guys. Got to go hang out with them last Thursday night downtown for a live show. They were helping people out with a charity operation. You'll love this band. Y'all have heard some of their music here on the show and had those guys in the studio. So come hang out with us. I'll be doing the show that Friday live down in Iron City. And like I said over and over, we'll be AJ gets busy at these things. He's always running around doing stuff. I'm running around doing stuff. We can't spend as much time with the folks as we'd like to, but we'll be able to do that. Whole crew will be there. So come hang out with us. Iron City, Birmingham, May the 15th, but you got to have tickets. And this is going to be a hot ticket. Birmingham's one of those kind of towns where there'll be a rush of ticket sales here in the next few days. So go ahead and get yours, and we'll see you there. Again, you can get your tickets at Ticketmaster, or you can go right to the Iron City website and buy them. It's ironcity.com. Let me get dialed in here and go back at it with some of these stories. Now, I can't stray too far from the redistricting story or the map wars. I'm seeing Kay Ivey quoted all over the place. I think Steve Marshall's been doing around. I mean, I really don't have a true sense of what the script is for the legislature as they reconvene. They're in session now. I mean, they've got a schedule, but I'm waiting to see the operative maps that they're going to work with. And here's why. Anytime you head into this and you're trying to get it done in 5 days, you better have the maps worked out that you're going to defend or argue for. And so I know I've seen one that's floated around since before the Supreme Court decision, should this situation present itself, and it did. But the question is, will that get substituted or tweaked or changed? And again, the two scenarios we're waiting to see how aggressive they're going to be. Are they going to draw a 6-1 map, which would be 6 Republican districts like we had before the 23 lawsuit, and they leave largely a gerrymandered district map or district for the Democrats? Or are they going to go full on, hit the gas, and do 7 Republican oriented? And none of these are purely Republican, but statistically they lean that way, and that's why they keep calling them Republican districts. A Democrat could still win if the Democrat came and made a reasonable argument, but in today's environment, since they've gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, I can't really see that brand carrying a lot of weight in this state. But we'll see which maps pop out. I'm hoping, what do we got, another hour and 20 minutes, maybe I'll get a handle on that before the day's over. As the bills got to get submitted, they got to go through the normal committee structures and all that. That really begins in earnest tomorrow at 9 o'clock before they really get to that. 2 more stories. Let me get off that for a minute because that story's kind of getting tedious. 2 more stories to pay attention to today. One, I saw Rudy Giuliani was taken to the hospital. He's in critical condition. He's getting older. I don't know exactly what it is. They're saying that he's in the fight for his life right now. The president's commenting on it today. Giuliani is just an amazing character in this country's history. His involvement in prosecuting the mob when other prosecutors were afraid to do it, he cleaned up New York City as the mayor of that city, and it had a revitalization after he went to some of the strategies. You would call him the opposite of what this Mamdani is going to do to that city. Complete opposite. Whether as one is releasing criminals into the street, the other, they cracked down on petty crimes, which led to it sort of worked its way up the system into more violent crimes. If you take care of the small stuff, the big stuff starts to come into line. These people didn't get a chance to graduate into career criminals. And then instead of the whole city smelling like piss around Times Square and these window washers and panhandlers aggressively going after tourists. And I mean, you couldn't walk through there in the 70s. And Giuliani cleaned that city up, and his model was followed all over the country. He was called America's mayor for a reason. And then that was a tourism boom for the city. People were flooding into New York City because it was safe again. You could walk anywhere. And in the times I've been there since my son moved there about 5 years ago, I've never really felt threatened anywhere. I don't use the subways anymore because of the escalation of violence that's starting to happen. But this idiot they've got in there now he will absolutely bring that city to its knees, even with the limited power that a mayor has. And there, you can already see he's probably going to get tossed in the next election if the city can survive it. Businesses are bolting, residencies are being abandoned, landlords are abandoning their property. They're thieves. He came out last week and they want to a big giant state bailout because of their spending habits. I mean, cut your damn spending. Cut the size of the city budget. No, they've always got their hand out for more, and that's what breaks a city. Anyway, back to Giuliani. But Giuliani was so unfairly treated and harassed legally, just like Trump. And he didn't get the attention that Trump got because he wasn't Trump. But they tried to take everything that this man had. They did everything they could to ruin him. But he'll always have a good name for me. And if the Republicans could find a pair of Kiwis in all of the United States Senate and get the SAVE Act passed, I think they should name it after Giuliani. Because the guy gave the last part of his life when he could have been done. He'd moved out to the private sector. He had already been a successful mayor and prosecutor and become a celebrity of types. He was an advisor to a president. But he decided to dive in and fight hard for the absolute way that the election was stolen in 2020, and he kept after it. And they tried to ruin him for it because they don't want the gig to be up. The Democrats take their election rigging very, very seriously and will get together and destroy anybody that tries to get in the way. But they're getting a fight on their hands right now. Today, again, I was on my friends Allison and Amy Beth's show. They've got a podcast, Right Side Media. Y'all check that out. We had a good time. But they were asking me for during one of the breaks. They said, "We need some hope, man. Give us some good news," because we were talking about all these things that have been on the show today. And I said, "Look, the good news is this, and some of y'all need that too as you're driving home today. The border's closed. The Democrats have built a massive machine over the last few years, largely under the tutelage of Barack Obama, to attack systems. This is what these revolutionaries believe in. It's what he was raised in this sort of revolutionary style mindset culture that this guy as a young man was bred into. And so were many others of their ilk that have attempted these things over and over and over again over the years. I noticed the other day on May Day, the Fox News did an interesting thing. They played some video clips from the 70s where it was even more radical. These people turned out 170,000 people on May Day to the Capitol. They thought this was their revolution, and that little revolution fell apart. What they did the other day was completely weak, but these guys really believe they're in a struggle and that somehow they got to stick it to the man, and they very smartly will go in and start to attack systems. So I said this the other day, if you can't win an election on ideas, you don't have to if you can rig the system. So how do they rig the system? Racial gerrymandering that gives them a guaranteed 12 to 20 seats that'll rubber stamp any dumb thing the Democrats come up with. That's what we're dealing with now. But that's under assault because we got a new Supreme Court ruling that could undo the rigging of the districts. They don't like it, but it's coming because it's time. Then there's the way they count votes. They want to shove millions of illegals into their states and get credit in the census so they can keep their congressional representation and their electoral college votes. There are challenges before the court right now to stop that. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm dubious that it'll go as well as the racial gerrymandering ruling went, but it's before the court and it's being pushed upon for the first time in my lifetime. The border is closed and we're net having exports every day of illegals in this country that are brought here by design to ruin the country, period. That's what it was. This wasn't natural migration. This was incentivized and planned and schemed and coordinated with a bunch of money, both private and public money, to bring these people into this country the last few years, to change it, to wreck it, to destroy it. Simultaneously, you had that wave of people and a crime wave that was brought out by these soft on crime policies. They know the fruit of those soft on crime policies, but they were letting it happen because they need chaos. They need division. I believe they introduced the transgender issue into the public just for that same division. Divide and conquer. So you raided the country with people from the third world to get their trouble to come here with them. And we did. And now all that's being reversed. The border's closed. And so every day, 1,200 people are being exported out of this country back to their homes. They're not being put in gulags. They're not being put in concentration camps. They're sent home. Home. How bad is that? Just go home. This isn't your home. You didn't ask to be here. We didn't ask you to be here. Go home. So that's happening on a regular basis. Instead of 5,000 people a day coming across that border, we're losing 1,200 a day. So the dynamics change. All this electioneering and planning these people had put into place, stealing money through USAID. They were laundering federal government money through NGOs to do their bidding. The SPLC situation last week, we caught them taking some of that same money and donor money, stage crafting race riots to keep this country divided. They scripted and paid for and instigated that whole Charlottesville, Virginia scene, and then co-opted it and campaigned on it and fundraised on it and created division and a false political narrative with the amplification of the media, with some of our tax money, we believe. All that's over. That's being stopped and confronted. These are good things, because if you get away from attacking systems and we go back to a pure system, and I don't mean 30 days of voting and drop boxes where fake votes can show up and voter rolls that are crap and total trash with people on them that aren't even existing. When we clean that up, if we can just get the damn SAVE Act passed, then that's another system the Democrats have attacked and gotten under their control that's not an advantage for them politically. They are overrepresented in our government in a huge way because of this. Instead of winning the battle of ideas, they decided to control the systems that decide the power. And they've been good at it. They've been really good at it. But thank God we're fighting back on it and trying to push back on that and change it back to a fair system where people just go show up and vote. Bring an ID. You're a citizen. You've got a right to determine the future of this country. Welcome to the polls. Don't care who you are, where you're from. Come on in. That's how we decide our future. Not this stuff they've schemed and put into place. So all of it's being confronted, and that's good news. It's a difficult fight, and what they have to do this week in the legislature is difficult, but it's unfair what the Democrats have gotten away with in this country. And this is also why while I'm on my soapbox, they can take the 20 side of an 80-20 issue. And we sit around and scratch our heads going, how do these idiots think they're going to get elected? The tranny stuff and pro-criminal and illegal stealing money from us, they're on the side of that. They're on the side of Iran right now, getting a nuclear bomb. They think that's the winning side. That's because if we were really fighting over ideas in a fair election, they know that wouldn't win. Mainstream America hasn't lost their minds. But if you got the game rigged and you already know the outcome, and you've got lockstep seats, early voting, fake voters, no integrity at the polls, and you put a bunch of immigrants on the voter rolls that'll vote for anything you tell them as long as you pay them, yeah, they can be for whatever they want to. They can be for things just to be obnoxious, just to keep everybody divided against each other, and use that to their advantage because they control the systems. It's all about the systems. We're over here playing tiddlywinks about ideas and philosophies, and that's important. The other side's been doing a complete opposite strategy, but we on to them, and things are going to start changing in this country this week. Alabama Bass bringing you the show tonight. Slip-proof surfaces, shelving, handles in place to help you steady yourself when you're in there getting a shower. Y'all don't take a shower the old way and risk falling. The bathroom's one of the most dangerous rooms in the house. Next to kitchen fires, slip and falls in the bathroom cause more deaths and injuries than some of the other things that happen in the home. So if you've been a little worried about it, maybe you're living alone, or maybe it's mama and you'd like her to be more secure, y'all reach out to Alabama Bass. This is a local business. They've been around 40 years. They know their stuff, their product's better. They're honest. They'll give you a straight price and let you decide. They don't do corporate America pressure tactics. You're their neighbor. They don't want to do that. They just want to do a good job for you. That's good business. That's how you stay around 40 years. They're in Pelham. If you want to go down to Pelham and look at one of the build outs, they're really cool to look at. Beautiful. And in 2 days, they could transform your bathroom. You'll be so proud of it. It is, of course, alabamabass.com. Reach out to them. Let them come visit you, give you a free estimate. alabamabass.com. Back in a minute. Man, I just talked to Greg Nelson this morning. I got a project going on, and I don't want anybody on my roof but Greg Nelson. And he reached out. We're just working through details, and I just have so much confidence that this is going to look good. It's going to match up to the rest of the house. It's going to be exactly right. When Greg Nelson does your project, you got to understand this about roofing. If we have a storm or something and you get desperate and go to one of these troll operations that just come through your neighborhood looking for business, man, if they don't put that roof on right, and how you going to know? How you going to know their credentials? You won't get the warranties. It won't be guaranteed. Plus, you might have a leaky roof, even with new shingles on there. Get it done right with my friend Greg Nelson. He's been at it. Man, he's going on 30 years. I've lost count. I know it was 25 a couple of years ago. His whole family's involved in the business. He's local, based originally out of Pell City, and can come to you throughout this whole audience and wherever we broadcast. Whether you need a new replacement because it's just getting old, or you wind up in a situation because of storm damage, I'm going to give you a number in a minute. I'm giving you a minute to find some way to jot this down or to try to memorize it. Fair warning, because Greg works on his phone. This is how he does it. This is how he'll get it done for you. 205. Here we go. You ready? 205-542-3531. Don't go call your insurance company first. You might get turned down. Let Greg help you make your case so that it's a tight case where you can document what needs to be done and what was wrong if it's a claim. And he's also got finance companies to help you with that or the whole job. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. Here's that number again, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531. Okay, we're understanding now, and I want to get to these calls, but this is kind of urgent, that this situation that happened outside the White House today where the Secret Service had to shoot a guy was a security threat, according to a lot of reports coming on that J.D. Vance's motorcade had just rolled through the area. The Secret Service became suspicious of an individual. When they made contact with him, he fled and opened fire on the officers. The White House was put in lockdown. They returned fire and hit the guy, took him down. He was transported to the hospital, so apparently he's still alive, at least at the moment. At least one bystander, it says here, might have been hit by the suspect's gunfire. So this is a much bigger deal than we initially thought it was. There was another person that I think fell, but wasn't a life-threatening industry. Let's see. This one guy that came out to speak about it said Vance's motorcade had just been in the area. Now, this was near the Washington Monument, but not right at the White House gates. But when it happened, all the reporters that are out there gathered around the White House had to be rushed inside. They went on a temporary lockdown until this guy was taken out. Again, apparently still alive, according to that report. I can't confirm that independently just standing here, but we'll keep following it today. Potentially yet another security threat near the president. When is this going to stop? Y'all, I'm telling you, they're trying to provoke a civil war in this country, and that's not an overstatement. I think they're trying to, if they shoot one of these Trump officials, they're trying to provoke a reaction. They cannot win this next election the way it's going right now, and they want something else. And I think it's just all out war. Be careful what you do and say right now. Back in a minute.